Welcome to Secrets of Stand-Up Comedy. I'm Richard Francis Williams. I'm going to tell you everything I know about stand-up so you can be a better comedian. Doubt is good. Self-doubt is good. I'm going to get to that in a moment. First, I want to say to any of the new subscribers, here's the format going forward. I used to do this in the beginning, and then I kind of got away from it. I don't know, maybe when I was transitioning to going more into stand-up. But in the beginning of the videos, I'm going to address the topic. Then at the end of the video, I'll talk about my personal life and what's going on with me. I got some good suggestions from various comics on the Discords, and also a comic who watches this regularly named Scott. Thank you, Scott. Scott said it to me in a way that I can understand. Yeah, the people that watch it a lot, they already know you. The new people, they don't. So, topic up front, personal life in the back. It's like the mullet approach. Business up front, party in the, you know what that is. So, having self-doubt, wondering if you're even funny. I'll take that any day over somebody who knows it all. Any single day of the week. Bingo, do you really have to eat your food right now? I mean, and it's in Willie's bowl. I guess this is going to be personal up front as well. I don't know. The people that act like know-it-alls, they'll never get better. Hold on. Bingo. The comics who are know-it-alls, they're going to have a hard time getting better because they know it all. Why would they have to learn anything? Why would they have to try to improve? If they don't get a good response, it's some other reason. It's not their fault. It's not their responsibility. They don't have to deal with it. It's the audience. The audience is bad. Or that booker doesn't like me, whatever. Usually, I mean, there's famous quotes about it with artists who have self-doubt. It's a normal part of the process. And it happens a lot more if you start something when you're older. Okay, so think about it this way. When I was younger and I started, this is all I wanted. I just wanted stand-up comedy. I didn't care what it took because I knew it would lead to other things. And then I started enjoying the process and falling in love with the process. And that's what I constantly stress to you. You have to love writing jokes. You have to love driving long distances to go do an open mic or go do an unpaid set somewhere. Enjoy all of that. That's all part of it. You'll look back, trust me, if you do this long enough, you'll look back at those times and you'll be like, man, that was the most fun I had. Because the only pressure was on me to get a laugh or to get a spot. That's what I was doing it for. I didn't care about money back then. I wasn't trying to make a living off of it in that moment. I was hoping to eventually. But, so when you're young and you're trying to learn something, it's a little bit easier because your mindset. Because you're not good at a lot of stuff when you're young. You're kind of learning everything at the same time. That's why young people pick up technology quickly. Because they don't have any pride. I think that's probably the best way to put it. You know why I don't like learning editing? Because I want to be great right out of the box. Because I'm good at certain things. And I like being good at those things. I like that feeling of competency. So when I'm trying something new, like editing or learning TikTok, I mean, TikTok I don't like for other reasons, but it's like, I don't want to fail at this. I'm good at things in my life. Why should I? And then you hit the first obstacle and you're like, oh, man. And so that's what happens with comedy. People expect, because they have a sense of humor, to just go up and boom, it's all going to click and you're going to get a bunch of laughs and jokes are going to come easy to you because you make your friends laugh or you're the funny person at the office. It takes time. You should be questioning yourself. This should be hard for you on some level. It's not, I mean, you hear these stories, oh, he was just a natural. Yeah, really? Like Andy Kaufman is one of the most bizarre comics to ever come along. Now, if you go back and watch what he was doing, he spent his whole childhood doing that. He was a lonely kid. And so he would close his bedroom door and he would pretend the wall was the screen of a TV set. And he was performing to kids watching from around the country through his wall. That's why so much of his stuff is childlike. The Mighty Mouse thing, that's funny to a kid. And it wound up being funny to adults. So that wasn't overnight. Steve Martin performed read his book. I forget what it's called. It's one of the best books on the life of a comic. But he did those Disney shows at Disneyland or Disney World, whichever one, in California, for years. He would do matinee shows for families. And then watch his stand-up after that. You can see the silliness translates from one to another. So yeah, question yourself. Pound your head against the wall and go, is this good? I don't know if it's good. Is it? Should I throw it all away? It's what people do in other creative endeavors when they're writing a song or they're doing a painting. It's natural. And I got this idea from the Discord because there's one sad sap in there who's always doing this to himself. But it's encouraging to me, Mook, because if you are not hard on yourself, if you aren't questioning yourself, you're going through life blindly. You need to be hard on yourself. You need to go, is this joke even worth trying at an open mic? Because what does that do? It causes you to try harder. It causes you to be open to suggestions and new things and new ideas and trying things differently and throwing everything away and starting over. When people get like that, I start smiling and laughing in my head. I go, yeah, he's addicted to this. He can't quit. As much as he may want to. As much as you may want to. If you have that in you, where you're constantly going, I don't know. This stuff is just, am I even funny at all? And you keep doing it, you're probably hooked on this. Even if you're doing this as a hobby. Think about it as a hobby. Like we expect everything to be so damn easy. What if your hobby was model trains and you're making them in your basement? You'd fall in love. I don't like doing that stuff. I assume they fall in love with the painting of it and the building of the railroads and putting the bushes in and the trees and the mountains. Do you think that it just all happens the first time they start? No, there's shit falling all over the place. I watched I watched these clips of domino setups. I watched one today. It was like this long string of dominoes that led to a giant tower of dominoes. And they push one over and it goes through the thing, and then the whole tower, it looked like the Eiffel Tower, fell down. I'm just thinking, how many times did that fall before they got it right? How many times did somebody accidentally knock one of them over? I mean, the tower was it was like 10 feet tall. And I'm like, how many times did somebody do something that it caused it to fall? How many times was there a breeze of wind? And they're like, son of a bitch, we got to start again from the beginning. Or they tipped over the first domino and only got halfway there. And they're like, all right, we got to set all these up. And then as they're doing that, one of them hits it and then the thing falls down. Imagine setting up a 10-foot Eiffel Tower made of dominoes 70 times. That's what you're doing on some level. with stand-up. It's not always going to be easy. And there's no guaranteed payoff. There's no, it's not like going to college where if you go your freshman year and do well, then you're going to become a sophomore, then you become a junior, then you graduate after you're a senior. There's no guarantees in this. And on the front end of it, the pay is horrible. If sometimes it's non-existent. You have to do this because you love it. You have to do this because you make the entire process fun. I suppose the people with the dominoes, they have a fun thing like, okay, we got through 36 times. Remember it was crazy when you knocked it over and I almost choked you to death. But then we started putting them together again. I don't know what they make fun out of it, or doing the model trains in your basement, maybe just to get away from your spouse for 5 hours a night, 5 nights a week. But yeah, start making writing jokes fun. Get together with one of your comic friends and say, we're going to go to the mall or someplace where people walk around. We're just going to goof on people. Not so that they could hear it, just between us. We're just going to go and roast people. Or every day we're each going to write 5 jokes. Whoever comes up with the best ones at the end of the week buys the other one a drink. Do something to make it fun. Meanwhile, I accepted a Facebook message. Now it's getting back to me in my life. I accepted a Facebook message request from some dude. He looked like a magician. And now, as I'm recording this, I'm just getting streams and streams of his messages. And it's very distracting as I'm trying to build this Eiffel Tower of knowledge for you, my valued, trusted subscribers. And I want to let you know that there's something very exciting. I made I called for your support probably a week ago. I don't remember the exact date, but it was probably a week, maybe 2 weeks ago. We're sitting there at 665 subscribers. Remember back then? And I put out a challenge to you. Let's get it to 673. I know we can do it. I know that it's a mountain, but together we can climb it. And as of right now, when I'm filming this, we're at 673. We did it. We did it. You did it. You made that happen. And you know what? I have a feeling we're going to get to 685 soon. And yeah, then it's going to be nothing but fun. That's the whole thing. I did that. What I'm telling you about with self-doubt, I've been doing this whole time, making these videos. I would hear criticisms when people would say, they would type in, the video starts 4:37 in. I'd be like, fuck, I can't even talk about myself. They just want whatever little advice I'm going to give. Like, they don't want to get to know me. And then I would get like, well, I'll give you your money back because it's free. And then I was like, look, I'm being an idiot. It's one person, and they might not even be saying that. They might be trying to help the rest of the viewers who don't want to sit through my nonsense. And that's when Scott told me, yeah, for the new viewers, they're going to see 4 minutes of you rambling. They may not know what the channel is then, and they click off. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Sometimes the only way I can hear advice is if I'm presented it in a certain way, or if I'm open to it. So that's why I may repeat some of the themes or the tips or suggestions that I give you, because you may not be ready for it when you first hear it, or you may skip that video. Willie's mad you're skipping videos. Why are you doing that? Why are you skipping videos? I put a lot of work into this. But, excuse me, when I started this, the first time was amazing. I felt so great. I was finally getting something done. Then about 30 videos into it, I'm like, I can't do 10 hours of editing every day. And then another stretch, let's say I was 70 videos in. I'm like, I'm going to run out of ideas. I don't know what the hell to tell these people about stand-up. I mean, how many different ways are there to skin a cat? And then ideas kept coming. And I would test different audio things during the day. Now the audio seems set. My skin doesn't look this bad in real life, but in the black and white, in the way I do the lighting, it looks jacked up. I painted the back wall of my office black, but it bothers me that because of the light, you see a bit of a sheen on there. So I have to drop the light down too far, and it pops out the redness in my face, but you can still see the sheen. So I have all these things going along, and then I look back on it and I'm like, God, I love doing that. It was a pain in the ass. I wanted to be good at doing this right out of the gate. I wasn't. I thought it was good. It's still good on some level, but I didn't know what I was doing. I was trying stuff. I was experimenting. I look back on that fondly. It was only like going on 5 months now. It seems like a world away. I miss all the different times that I tried out different cameras. It's frustrating. I know you want to be good. I know you want to be great as a comic. So make it fun. Make the whole experience fun for yourself. You're just goofing around. Yeah, I'm going to sit and write down 10 things I hate, and then I'm going to rant about it into my phone, record it, and then play it back, see if there's anything funny. Then I'm going to go on stage in front of people and do the same thing. I'm going to cherry pick the ones that I like and think are good, and then I'm going to do that, and I'm going to record it, and then I'm going to see which ones work, and then I'm going to go home. I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to replace the ones that didn't work with new ones that I think will work, and then do it all over again. I'm going to drive a lot, and I'm going to get crazy and angry, and I might cry. I might want to give up, but I'm going to make some friends along the way. I'm going to make some friends along the way, I said, which makes me want to say thank you again to Sarah the lawyer. I had a delightful conversation with her today. She's helping me out so much with this credit report stuff and my bank. And I don't know how to thank people other than to say thank you and offer my firstborn, but I don't have any kids, so I'll figure something else out. These videos may become more this type of stuff because once I get my van working to a point where I'm comfortable with it, I'm going to really be hitting the open mics and clubs heavy. And so I'm going to be showing you the lessons I learn along the way, and hopefully you'll enjoy that too. But for the meantime, yeah, I'm going to take everybody's suggestion, not everybody, but I'm going to take the suggestion and front load it with information and then let the silliness happen on the back end. One time in my professional job before I quit and did stand-up, I worked at this computer consulting company, and my boss, his name's Tom Mullen. I'm still friends with him to this day. And we kept in touch when I was on the road, when I moved to LA, and he retired from that company. He did very well for himself. Great, great guy. He's the best. And I looked up to him back then and still now. I remember I used to goof around in the office, and I would come into his office because I'd get bored during the day. And I was like busting his balls. We used to have our inside jokes. He's older than I am by like 20 years. And I was in my 20s. And I remember I was making a joke about something. Excuse me. But I had been going on too long. He goes, all right, silly time's over now. I felt this big. I was like, silly time is over? What? And then I like sunk my head, shook it, and then like sulked back to my office. And so every once in a while, we'll bring that up to each other. Silly time's over. Time to get back to work. So that's it for this video. Silly time's over. I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, Gavin, I can't say his full Christian name, is texting me. I'm sure this is going to be wonderful and friendly. Hey, what are you doing, jerk? Nah.